located? Where would his room be? And his room would be down in the basement. Okay, it just blew me away. That's one thing. Then the other thing is, number two, I'm so glad I get a chance to talk. Number two, I was just talking with Nick Lafata just the other day, on Saturday actually, when there was supposed to be a meeting, and Nick started talking to me. And Nick starts, I'm saying, Nick, I've got a piano coming. Someone donated a baby grand to the school. I went over to Rockport. I'm sorry, in your face. I went over to Rockport to get the piano, and all excited. Wow, we're going to get a baby grand. It's just beautiful, but it's got to go into that building. And then Mick tells me the other day, no, we can't get into the building because we have to be rid of the modulars first. So where does it say that? It doesn't say it anywhere. There's nothing on paper, according to Mick Lafata, the owner, that says that we have to be rid of these. It's roadblock after roadblock after roadblock from the administration, and I happen to be the lucky person the day when everybody was going down to City Hall to try to force Carolyn Kirk to send a building inspector. I happened to find out where she was, and I was lucky enough to redirect my friend Ruthie down to Melrose to put her on the spot. And she was on the spot because she was standing in front of kids and she couldn't look bad. And that put her on the spot. She came to our school, and part of me talks for the other teachers who above and beyond. They've been trying to do the best they can with all the tension, all the friction, all the negative. But so she actually came to our school and shook the hands of the kids, and the kids all gave her a round of applause and thank you, Mayor, for coming, and you have a right to education. But when it comes right down to it, to get into that building, we're not going to be allowed into that building unless there's a huge push. And the other thing, I love it that somebody said about Ferrante. I'm from Ipswich, by the way. So I don't know your locals as well, but I know that Ferrante was the campaign manager for Martha Coakley. Now you tell me honestly that there isn't something there that's saying, okay, now they have to sign this thing. They didn't have to do that before when Chester came out and said, these are the things you have to do. Oh, here's one more you have to do. Oh, here's one more you have to do. It's not about your kids. It's not. It's about politics, and it's not even about the money. It's not even about the money. It's about pushing for good education. There's a gentleman, an Englishman. His name is. I'm sorry. I want to. I'm sorry. I am a performer. Wrap it up. There is a British gentleman, Sir Ken Robinson, and he talks about the education paradigm of what's going on in the world right now and how the world is trying to change education because it doesn't suit us anymore. And he talks about how critical it is that we're going in the wrong direction with all this MCAS testing and all this testing, that we need to be going with the arts. The kids need to be able to have creative opportunities given to them to turn on that part of their brains. Thank you.
I'm going to, unless somebody has something they're dying to say, I'd like to move on with our meeting. That's been our strongest public comment time.
I just have one more thing.
Yes.
If you have not seen Waiting for Superman, you need to see it. It will be coming to Gloucester for one showing. We will get it here. Okay? Coming soon, we'll let you know. But everybody in the city should see the movie. Okay? It's in Danvers if you don't want to wait.
I want to thank everybody for their comments, including Amanda, who has a different perspective, but is brave enough to come here and to voice her perspective. It saddens me that what I hear is parents fighting for their own kid in some sense. That's what every mother or parent does. But it saddens me that our district, and what it's come down to, is fear of the school closing, or fear that you finally found something that works, or your life looked worse, and there's fear that that's going to close, and that we're pitted against each other when we shouldn't be, and there's no reason to be. And in fact, in communities where charter schools have been going for a number of years, you don't see this anymore. And it's sad that it starts out this way in every community, at least a lot of communities. It's not about what education should be about, and it's not about what a community should be about. So I think it's sad. I also think it's sad that people that are interested in enrolling in this charter school have been harassed by people that are opposed. I think that's sad. That there's a level of respect that hasn't been seen in this community. So I do think that some of that can be, I think some more dialogue would help. I think this is sort of a start for people to hear Amanda's perspective and how her school is good for her child, and for people to express their perspective and why this school has worked for them. And I'm hoping that might be the start of some dialogue, of some work, where we don't have to be pitting each other against each other. And I do want to refer anyone to, if you want information, more information on the funding and how that works, because there certainly is very different perspectives on whether that is quote-unquote fair or not, and what it means. When this school is fully enrolled, it will be 240 kids. It will be the same size, I believe, or similar size to East Gloucester. And I think Pump Cove is a little bit smaller. So it will be a similar size to some of the schools that exist. So just for that information. I want to move on to the agenda for tonight, unless any other board members want to make any comments about the comments that you've heard tonight. We have a full agenda. We have a lot to do tonight. So I don't want to be the only one that speaks if anyone wants to say. Okay. So first on the agenda is a review and approval of minutes. And I believe we have a couple of sets of minutes here. First is November 15th.
I move to accept the minutes of November 15th.
Discussion, and I'm going to explain. I believe there's 2 sets of minutes for the 15th.
For the Committee on Trustees.
What?
One's for the Committee on Trustees.
Okay, so
You might just
yeah, sorry. Okay. So anyways, discussion on the 15th. Next 15th. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the next set of minutes are from November 20th. And there are 2 sets of minutes. There's one that's executive session and one minutes from the open session. So I want to start with the open session.
Right. Now, I move to accept the minutes of the open session minutes for November 20th.
Second.
Discussion?
I'll point out that the minutes that you have before you, the version of these open minutes have been revised slightly by our legal counsel, and I think all of you had a chance to review those at this point. So I just want to point that out for the record.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Okay. Minutes of the executive session?
I didn't vote because I wasn't there. So
That's right.
Yeah.
Minutes of executive session on November 20th?
Yeah, I move to accept the minutes of the executive session for November 20th.
I second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Okay, so we have a couple of important agenda items before us tonight. One is a document from the Attorney General's office. It's in your binder, the most updated version, which we received today. If you haven't had a chance to look at it, I think it was emailed about 3 or 4 o'clock, so they can get, yes.
Did you want to just, because that's sort of the major
Yeah, do you
item.
want to do the other one?
Did you want to do I was just wondering if we could do the committee on
let's
trustees
do that.
first.
Okay, so we'll bypass that for a second, we'll be back. The other item, there's 2 items that are due tomorrow, and that pretty much winds up our commissioner's list. And one is the item number 9, which is to strengthen the membership of the Board of Trustees, must recruit Smith Charter Office for approval, new members with expertise in public administration, finance, real estate, and law, and must notify the rest of us, just the board members are leaving. So, Jay, do you want to give a report from the trustees?
Yes, the Committee on Trustees met, and we voted to send the names to this group of Dr. Arthur Bean and James Caveston, both for 3-year terms. And we urged the board itself to send those names on to the commissioner for approval.
And Tony, would you like to say a little bit, can you say a little bit about both of them? Is that all right, or?
Dr. Bean or about, sorry?
Yeah, do you mind to say a little bit about both of them, Dr. Bean and James Caveston has not been brought to this meeting yet, just the trustees.
Sure.
Is that all right? I
Yeah.
don't want to put you on the spot. So.
Well, James Caveston, I think many people were at the Committee of Trustees last week, but he has significant experience in law as well as in nonprofits. He was the CFO of a major corporation that he actually brought back to health as a company, and most recently has worked with CRs. So he has deep connections in the Gloucester community, which I think is really important for the school, and particularly in arts. And the importance of the arts, not just as a paradigm for learning, but in encouraging the recognition in Gloucester that the rich resources in the arts are actually of enormous benefit to the expansion of the business community and the interest in the community from a tourist perspective as well. And so it actually brings income into the community. And very, very smart, savvy guy. He brings both the legal background and public relations background, marketing savviness. Just a very, very, very good guy. So.
And I think on the commissioner's list, he actually fulfills in one person all those requirements.
He does actually.
It's a one-man package.
It's a one-man package, which is nice.
Well, so we did that.
But we have another nominee as well.
Yeah, and Dr. Art Bean, and this will be a slight repeat for those who are at the Committee on Trustees, but I spent 2 hours with Dr. Bean, and it was one of those great conversations, educator to educator, where you come out of it inspired and rejuvenated, really, in terms of why you get into this business. He was assistant principal at Fuller, so he knows this community well, but has served in a number of different educational institutions, public and private. He was the coordinator of new teacher or teacher training placement at Boston University, and has a background in terms of both his doctorate and his master's degrees in special education, and particularly in working with schools on inclusion of students to keep them all in the same environment. And so I think he brings a wealth of knowledge to the school that'll be extremely useful. And just, as I say, I mean, one of these people who within minutes you feel has a heart of gold, deeply passionate about education as an art form, and passionate about kids. So I couldn't recommend him more highly to the board as a nominee. We're very, very lucky to have him.
And he, of course, brings public school administration experience. Wonderful. So I will entertain a motion. We'll suggest that we one at a time. Anyone is interested to do this nomination. nomination of James Patterson to the board.
I move to nominate James Gadd